Welcome back to our 24th episode of Flippin' Friday, and today we're going to be building around a $350-ish gaming PC that should still produce some pretty good profits. And since my videographer Brian is out sick today, I'm going to be filming this entire video by myself, but thankfully we got camera 1, camera 2, and camera 3 up there to hopefully help me out. Let's get started. And real quickly before moving on, shout out to Team Group and specifically their T-Force Delta RGB DDR5 RAM kit for sponsoring today's video. If you're in need of an actually affordable, all white and super clean kit of DDR5 RGB RAM, then this has got to be your next pickup. This 2x16GB kit is clocked at a crazy fast 6400 megahertz, and it's a perfect option for your next gen gaming PC build. Remember that Team Group is also hosting a crazy Black Friday and Cyber Monday sale where you'll certainly find RAM kits like this, as well as other memory and storage options on some crazy sales. Links to both this kit and the sale are the first links down in the description. And by the way, this RAM kit is making an appearance in a video coming to the channel very soon. Stay tuned for that. All right, so real quickly, let's talk about the performance parts, and we're definitely going to be talking about this CPU, motherboard, and RAM combo in just a second. But I paid $105 for this used off Mercari. This is a Gigabyte Gaming G1 motherboard with an Intel i5 6500, and then we got 8 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM on here. And then for our graphics card, we got a Sapphire Pulse RX 570. And just like every video, everything that we're talking about today is linked down in the description. But let's start building. All right, so like I said, this combo only cost me $105, and although it only has 8 gigabytes of RAM, it still has an Intel i5 6500 on here, and this combo was just screaming value for a Flippin' Friday episode when it only cost $105. Now, I don't often recommend you build an 8 gigabyte RAM system anymore. Honestly, I think we're officially done recommending that no matter what, but whenever you are building a super low budget system like this, you're honestly still gonna be okay for the most part. The i5 6500 paired with just a 4 gigabyte RX 570 isn't going to be playing games anywhere outside of 1080p and low to ultra low settings. And for most games still, even here in late 2022, we shouldn't be heavily affected by only having 8 gigabytes of RAM. Just remember that if you're following this at home and if you think you need more RAM, just add around 20 to 30 bucks onto your build total for an extra 8 gigabytes. Now, thankfully, this Gigabyte G1 motherboard does have a couple of M.2 ports on here because that allows us to use an NVMe drive like this Patriot P310 480 gigabyte that I bought on Amazon for just $33. There's a ton of other options per usual, such as the Team Group MP33 or the PNYCS 1030. Just make sure you're only paying around $30 to $35 for an ultra budget flip like this. You can also certainly get away with a 2.5-inch SSD to save even more money, but I'd personally rather take advantage of the faster speeds and smaller form factor with an M.2. Next up, we have this CPU cooler, and this is actually a first timer for me. Now, I've certainly installed the Arctic Freezer 34 eSports plenty of times before, but this is my first time buying it from Arctic B Stock, which I didn't even know existed until I found it on eBay. This was sitting there for only $22, and there were a ton available, and honestly, this cooler is in pretty good shape, so I may continue using this resource for budget build. Again, links to all of this are down in the description. Sorry to interrupt the video, but real quickly, since today is actually Black Friday, I wanted to remind you guys that ZTT Deals in our Discord server is definitely going to be the best hookup on the internet if you're trying to actually snipe some good deals this weekend. Every year, our deals god, aka Dr. Zoomer, aka Dr. Deals, puts together the best curated PC hardware deals list on the entire internet, and you can find this list in the ZTT Deals section of our Discord server. We only post the best deals for us PC flippers and PC builders, no Amazon Echo Dots or Fire Sticks in this list, and if you want to join us, join that Discord server, which is linked down in the description, or just go to this link right here. All right, back to our video. All right, so now that our motherboard is fully prepped and ready to go, it's now time for the power supply, and you guys already have seen this before. This is the Asus TUF 450 watt, 80 plus bronze certified. It's not modular at all, but it is tier B, and I only paid $35 for it, which is a really good price, and this is just enough wattage for something like an RX 570 system. But if you've been flipping PCs for a while, then you'll know that good power supply deals, especially on the budget side of things, are really, really tough to come by right now. So if you're trying to follow this as a flip template at home, just go with whatever deal you can find, because these are really, really tough to replicate right now. And per usual, remember to consult the PSU tier list. And honestly, for a super budget build, feel free to go with like a tier C unit, but I'll usually personally aim for tier B, which is what we have here today. And also remember that Black Friday is coming up soon, so we should hopefully have a lot of good deals there. Now, for Black Friday, this would 100% be the year to stockpile up on budget power supplies, or just power supplies in general, if you are a true PC flipper. I personally don't see any change in the market happening anytime soon. These budget power supplies have been really, really tough to come by. So if on Black Friday or Cyber Monday, we happen to see a deal on like a 500 to a 600 watt tier B unit, I'm gonna purchase as many as it allows me, which hopefully I can snag like 10 or so. I would highly recommend you do the same, because I just don't see these prices turning around anytime soon. This is the most boring part of every single PC build. Griffin, you wanna get some camera time? Come on, bud. Why don't you get some camera time real quick? Oh, say hello to the people. They never see you on YouTube. This is Griffin. He's helping me build the PC today. Do you want to do these?
Nope.
Okay, all right, he's done. He doesn't want to do these extensions either. I tried. Next up, we have our case, and this is the Montech Sky One Lite, and this actually came out just a few months ago in early 2022. I don't usually like to use parts in this Flippin' Friday series that were sent to me, but since this case costs normally $70, I thought this would actually be pretty good value for a build like this that already kind of has the aesthetics built in, and we're not going to be relying so much on the case's aesthetics, because it does come with 3 fans, but they're not RGB, which we'll talk about in just a minute. But there is this RGB strip up here at the front to accent the color scheme a little bit. But yeah, overall for 70 bucks, it doesn't look too bad, but we're about to find out. I also like that there's the GPU power cable cutout here for better aesthetics. And although these 3 fans aren't RGB, like I said, it's nice whenever you don't have to buy or install the fans yourself. So I'm at least glad that they're in here. I do love that this case comes with this style of case connector that keeps them all together instead of individually. It's really, really fun when case manufacturers do this. That way you can just plug this entire thing in as a unit instead of power LED positive, power LED negative, power switch, reset switch, and all that. Thank you, Montech. This is awesome. One other thing that we're gonna be doing, shout out to Sam, our benchmarker here at ZTT, for recommending that I buy a bunch of these. This right here is one of those adapters for USB 3 to USB-C. This case actually has a USB-C port up at the top here, but since this is a super old motherboard, way before USB-Cs were on motherboards, we don't have a port for it. But because this motherboard does indeed have an extra USB 3 port, we're just gonna be able to plug in this adapter right here. Now, it won't be the full speeds of USB-C. We'll be a little bit limited on the adapter, but that at least allows us to use that port right there, so that's awesome. As a PC flipper, I definitely recommend keeping these on stock for exact examples like this one. And finally, for the GPU, this here is the Sapphire Pulse RX 570 4GB. Now, chances are, if you're buying a 570 or even a 580 at this point, it was definitely mined on previously, but these are going for like 50 to 60 bucks on eBay, which is just ridiculous value, as we're about to see in the upcoming benchmarking section. There we go. Whew. That's not too shabby, let's go. And with all that being said, here you can see the full parts list and what the completed build is looking like. And as you can see, I paid $346, and this is some very solid price to performance value, as we're about to see in the benchmarking section. Now, as a PC flipper, you'll certainly have a limited audience of people that are actually interested in a 6th gen Intel based system, but depending on your area, I'd imagine you'd still be able to sell this for like 500 bucks, resulting in a little over $150 profit which is still always good in my book. And for the benchmarks of the i5 6500 and RX 570 combo, here is what we're working with. Like I said earlier, we're only going to be playing in the 1080p low settings for the most part, so our RAM won't affect us a whole lot. But again, if you're following this at home, that would certainly be a valid upgrade that you should go with depending on what kind of deals you find on DDR4 RAM. And as always, this build will be sold on my website, zackstechdrift.com, and this will be on the upcoming Black Friday launch, which is coming very soon. And just as a sincere reminder to you guys, these builds sell super quickly on the website, so if you've been trying to get one, you're gonna need to be able to hawk that website just to make sure that you don't miss it. And the prices on Black Friday are just gonna be ridiculous. I'm probably gonna be selling this build here for like $300 or so. So if you wanna buy it, Black Friday at zackstechdrift.com, that would definitely be the place to be. But yeah, make sure you click the card that's on the screen now if you wanna get fully caught up on all the other Flippin' Friday episodes. I'll see you guys in the next video. I can't reach the lens from here because Brian's not here. Goodbye.